going on, Jerome's? Happy New Year. Happy January 2nd. Happy International. Hey, we'll get back to you after the holidays day. But the Vikings fortunately got back to the quarterback quagmire that they've been in ever since Kirk Cousins went down with the injury. And it's been the Pashnot, got benched. It's been Mullens, got benched. It's been Jaren Hall, got benched. And now, the question is, after the Vikings have dentifloss thin, like prime Johan Santana ERA playoff chances, who is going to start Week 18 against the Detroit Lions? And head coach Kevin O'Connell addressed the local media jackals on Monday. And, the Lions still have an outside chance at moving into the 2 seed. The Niners have the 1 seed locked up. But if Philly and the Cowboys both lose and Detroit wins, blah, blah, blah. As well as, Dan Campbell's going to play his starters no matter what. Like, even if they could not move in playoff position, I feel like Campbell would still play his starters just because that's his mentality. So it is what it is. And I know what you're saying. Well, it doesn't matter who starts because blah, 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 lose, blah, 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 whatever, blah, 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 whatever. But there's various reasons to start each one. And head coach Kevin O'Connell, he didn't name the starter on Monday, but Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who is not Carl Gershman, Kevin O'Connell said he has decided on a starting quarterback for Week 18 versus the Lions, but isn't announcing it because he hasn't had face-to-face meetings with the players involved. And he did this. He did this last week, too, before announcing Jaren Hall, and I do respect it because, as a player, like, you want to hear it from your coach, like, if you're going to be benched, if you're going to be starting, whatever. You don't want to, see it on the old Twitter machine. You don't want to see it on ESPN, that old thing. I understand it. But, going back to the Packers game, again, it's frustrating because it felt like Kevin O'Connell was trying to be half pregnant. Like, are you trying to get a look at Jaren Hall for the future, or are you trying to gamble and win that game? Now, Nick Mullens got benched because he threw 4 picks, and not all of the picks were on him, but having a 9.4% turnover-worthy play rate through his 2 starts against the Bengals and the Lions, that's going to get you sat down. Right? And O'Connell was trying to play it safe with Jaren Hall. I don't think that he had a good game plan for him. And, the Packers got after that ass. It's unfortunate. But, Jaren Hall, 5 of 10 for 67 yards. That pick, which was more of a off-placement throw. And, Munt dropped it, and it got tipped up and blah, blah, blah. And, yes, Jaren Hall should have had JJ on the crosser. And he did miss a couple crossers. Just get the ball out of your hands, man. It's rough, but 3 sacks, as well as he was pressured on 9 of his 14 dropbacks, 64.3%, which is not good. It's no bueno, man. Ooh, and then I just spill. Fantastic, but his 1.1 QBR. That's like what West Phillips blew, and then a 32.1 quarterback rating, which also is not great because is it 39.6 if you just throw it straight into the ground. Either way, it's not good. Mullens fared a little bit better, but also, if Najee Thompson didn't have that great special teams play, Nick Mullens and the Vikings offense don't score. So it's rough. And the whole thing about it, too, is Kevin O'Connell was trying to have it both ways, whereas like getting a look at Jaren Hall, but he did not set up Jaren Hall for success. Jaren Hall looked like a rookie 5th rounder, making really his first start because he was knocked out of the Falcons game, even though he looked pretty good in that second drive. What frustrated me, and we vented about this yesterday, where hey, if you truly are committed to the development of Jaren Hall, and O'Connell and Phillips have talked about this, yada 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 ad nauseum. Doing that to him on Sunday night was not great. It was not the offensive line was ass. Thank you, and the game plan wasn't good. And Jaren Hall, he clearly wasn't ready. And you put a spot where Jaren Hall had to come out and play like gangbusters. Otherwise, you're going to bench him, and otherwise the fan base was going to turn on him. That's the opposite of development. And people want the Vikings to draft a quarterback high and have Kevin O'Connell, West Phillips develop him. I don't know, man. But, with Mullens, if you're just going to bring Mullens in, with Hall looked slightly below average in the first half, just start Mullens. Should have just done that. Or, hell, start the Passionot again. Let's bring back Passionot 2.0. 1.0 was a ton of fun, man. But like we said, the pressures were not great all night long. Will Raggett, Sports Illustrated. Every Viking starting offensive lineman allowed at least 3 pressures last night per PFF. Bradbury 7. Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark isn't Kenny Clark anymore, but Bradbury had a bad day against Kenny Clark. Ed Ingram had 4, Reisner 4, Darisaw 4, Brian O'Neill 3. And, I mean, Darisaw kind of got his lunch handed to him. It was kind of rough all the way around. Vikings quarterbacks were pressured on 22 of 38 dropbacks, 58%, despite the Packers only blitzing nine times. And like we said earlier, Hall got heat on 9 of his 14 dropbacks, so almost 2/3 of the time, which you're not set up for success either way there. But, again, I understand the Vikings do have like very thin, minuscule playoff chances. They need to win and have 3 or 4 games go their way. But if you want to see what you have with Jaren Hall, just roll him out there and see what you got for the rest of the game. If you want to try and gamble and try and put up some numbers, put Mullens out there, because respect, the passing offense did look good under him at times in the Bengals and the Lions game. And they put up back-to-back 24-point efforts, and the passing game looked as good as it did when Kirk Cousins was around, or at least as good as it could be after Kirk popped his Achilles. And if you just want to have fun, roll Dobbs out there again. I mean, not going to lie, like Dobbs running around and just doing crazy things off script against the Falcons in the first half against the Saints, that was great. It was great, man. So, entertainment value, Dobbs. If you want to put up some numbers or throw 7 interceptions, Mullens. Or if you want to see what you have for the future and actually give him a fair look, Jaren Hall. So we'll see what Kevin O'Connell decides to do, likely on Wednesday, the first day of practice ahead of the Sunday game. But that's it. Your thoughts are thoughts. Who is going to start a quarterback against the Lions? Kevin O'Connell, he knows, but didn't name his starter. Like it matters. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.